But unlike Jim, I'm not working on the 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 Georgia trip in the morning because we'll be flying out.
We had like 6 inches of snow yesterday.
Heck yeah, that's awesome. I kind of miss snow. Kinda. Say kinda. Hard kinda.
I did until I was shoveling it yesterday.
Yeah, shoveling doesn't sound fun at all. All right, here's some wins. Don't be shy. This is your time to boast and brag and say how cool you are.
You want to know how cool I am, Dan?
How
I got
cool.
some new business cards made and I spelled my own name wrong.
Nice.
Printed and everything, and even handed some out. So there's that. But at least the
Perfect.
email was spelled correctly, and one of the people I handed it to already emailed me. So at least that part was correct.
That's a win. First or last name did you spell it wrong?
Last.
That's okay. They just need to remember your first.
True.
Got 7 offers in 2 days on our new listing.
Freak, yeah.
Okay, based on where you started, where do the offers come in at?
Do you want? Oh, so the house is a little hammered. We listed at 399 and 7 offers. My normal math doesn't normally math out. 5 offers, we should be 25,000 over or so.
There you go.
Is this the one you were going to buy, Jim, but you told him it'd be better on the market?
Yep,
Guess
and
you
it
were
did.
right.
Yeah, it did. Unfortunately.
You're all, I was correct and sad. That's okay though. You're protecting people. Put them first. There's a lot of agents out there that wouldn't do that.
Got a couple sub 2 offers, and nobody was even the people making the offers weren't even able to explain it correctly.
Yeah, no. There's so many people out there trying to do sub two and trying to get contracts written up so they can sell it and get the um assessment or assignment bonus, what they're calling it. It's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. It's like if you put that much energy in trying to skate the system, just be a part of the system and make it better.
Is that normally, are those normally offers presented to a listing agent? Wouldn't those go directly to like a distressed
No,
seller?
if it's listed already, it goes directly to the listing agent. I get them every time we list a house.
Oh yeah.
Really? Interesting.
Especially the house that had been listed for a while. They're like, "Oh, we could help you out with some creative blah blah blah." Like, no thanks.
Well, and the funny part is they go, our offer, yeah, we're recording, whatever, we don't know the address. They go, our offer's at 375. Um, and we're take over the loan, blah, 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 and $40,000 to the buyer, to the sellers. So I says a 375 plus 40,000. They said, no, it's what they'll net after what they owe. And I said, how do you know what they owe? They go, well, we're just assuming based on their last purchase price.
Yeah, we get that all the time. We had one that's a land deal that we're doing for $78,000 acre. Nothing fancy, just an acre. And the got a subject to buyer that hit us up with $50,000 offer. I'm like, thanks, but no thanks. He goes, well, based on when your buyers bought it, they're making $23,000 in profit. I'm like, where are you getting that information? Well, based on this, what he had was when he got married, he put it in his wife's name too. He's owned the land for 30 years, but he transferred it to his wife's name, and you need an affidavit of value when you transfer it, which is what they assessed the value at. And they're like, oh, he's making profit. He should be happy. I'm like, he's owned the land for 30 years. He doesn't owe anything. I didn't tell him that. I'm like, where did you get that information? Well, your information isn't accurate. Thank you. Good luck. And we argued back and forth about it. It was kind of funny, actually.
Well, and these guys aren't realtors either. So they put their offers in, and their offers have all sorts of holes that are in an email or a text message. And it's like they're making offers on napkins.
Yeah. So here's the I'll share this so you guys can see it.
I mean, I appreciate the hustle, but
So he calls me. I'm in a meeting. Would you please text me? Because it says scam likely. Inquiring about this address, I was like, I have a private money cash, but there's no way 78,000 will work. Please inform your clients that I know this property was purchased for $35,000 in January of 2025, and I'm willing to make concessions. Also, what's your question and what would be your offer? The most 45K. I found with that price, it also has the hookups and located in the area. I was like, would you like to put in a formal offer? The seller said no, thank you to 45K. If anything changes, you have my contact. Thanks. Could you ask your client what he would do and let me know? What would he be willing to do to move to? Considering that he purchased it for 35,000, the estimate wholesale value is 58.1. I could do 50. Therefore, they can make 15K and I can make 8K. Also, so why would he sell it wholesale? Because at 78,000, he's competing with land in the same area for considerably cheaper. There's one for 45,000, another for 60, and both have on-site hookups. And quite frankly, he bought at 35K. Those other properties started with higher prices too, but the longer it sat, well, you know. I was like, what he paid has no bearing on its value. Fully fenced, hookups, and active utilities all add value to the property. So to the end user, the value will be justified. For the wholesaler looking to flip the profit, not so much. Well, the estimated value, 80K. We know that the price always drops 20% from list price. Do we? Absolutely. Without the improvements, the market land value is 22K in 2024. With the market total value of 32K, I believe 50K is a solid offer. Had there been a structure, it would have been a different story. Thank you for justifying your offer. If there was a structured deal, it wouldn't be a land deal. 50K is a great down payment. You even said the wholesale value is 58,000, and wholesale is typically $30,000 or 30% less than retail, thus making the asking price of 78,000 a great deal to a retail buyer, since it should be over 82,000 based on that. I respect the differences in opinion. I've been there on the market since November. With the current economy, I think we know it might be a while at that price. Nonetheless, the price suggests you're targeting investors and snowbirds, which is offering you 50K. Your client turns a $23,000 profit. You get a commission. I get some crumbs, and my client has a new place to call home. We all win. Thank you again for your offer. It's not enough. Thank you. If you need to get rid of anything, feel free to reach out.
Man, you're a saint. That conversation was way longer than I would have spent with that guy.
Oh, I played along with it because I knew I was going to use it as an example on this call one day. Seriously, some of the things I do, I know I'm going to reuse for this, but you guys see how I handled it. He's coming in an offer. My clients didn't buy it for 35,000. They bought it for like 3,000 30 years ago.
But
You're
these
going
guys
to get
have
people that try to justify it, and he was putting a lot of justification out there, but it wasn't sound logic justification. To a newer agent that hasn't been doing this, it may make sense. It's like, oh, this makes total sense. Let me go sell it to my seller. I was like, no. My text message to my seller was, hey, I got a verbal offer for 40,000 or 45,000. I already told them to kick rocks. He goes, okay. I was like, they upped their offer to 50 grand. I told him it still wasn't enough. He goes, okay. Because I know he wants 78,000. That's his bottom dollar. And the next day, we got a cash offer for 78,000. When you know the value, it's easy to have those conversations. Investors or investor agents are going to hit you up with that kind of nonsense all the time. Well, the wholesale value is 58,000. Well, why would he sell it wholesale? Well, he's targeting investors and snowbirds. Okay, that's two separate demographics. So clearly you don't know what you're talking about. You're just trying to fast talk, but you don't know who you're dealing with. Probably sitting in a call center somewhere or at an office in Phoenix with 9 other dudes, and then you're just calling a bunch of people trying to buy stuff up and get it locked in contract so you can resell it. No. I hate wholesalers.
Yeah, they get like $2,000 for handing it over to the Daddy Warbucks, and then they take it over. And, yeah,
I do. I genuinely hate wholesalers when they come from just that percent. Like, oh, we're here to just make money off of the sellers, you know. Because how many times has a wholesaler told a seller, "Oh, your house is only worth $25,000, or your house is only worth this much," and then they turn around and sell it for 100 grand more. Not that I'm not that I want people not to make money. I think profit's a good word, but don't make profit off of scamming people. And that's effectively what they're doing is they're lying to them. This is market value. It is not market value. You guys know what is market value? What defines market value?
What a buyer's willing to pay.
Right? Without marketing the house like Jim did with his, without marketing it, we don't know what market value is. What I'm willing to pay for it as an investor is this much. Now, we can put it on the market, we can try it, and it might be a month or two before we close. Do you want to take that gamble? Some sellers are going to say, "No, Jim, I like that. I like you. It's a simple deal. It's clean. We get our money, we move on. Let's just sell it to you." Other sellers are like, "We need all the money we can get. Let's take the gamble and put it on market." Thank you, Anthony, for putting your hat on because your hair is fucked. It's okay. Well, what other wins? I know that was a long win conversation, but I think it's important you guys understand you're going to get these messages. You're going to get these opportunities because people are out there trying. Go to YouTube or to Instagram and put in the word wholesale or wholesaler and watch how many videos are people out there talking about I made $70,000, $80,000 this month and I didn't have to do anything. I made a phone call. There's a fat dude that lives in a cabin that has a black Cadillac that's just out there pitching his stories. Like, you can use my contracts, you can use my system, pay me for the classes, and I'll show you how to make $100,000 a month. Okay, great. If you were making $100,000 a month out of it, you probably don't have time to sell the class to it. He might. I don't know. I'm just saying. It's just it gives me a nasty taste in my mouth because we're out here protecting people and they see us as criminals. They see us as we get paid too much money. Go look at these guys that aren't doing anything, guys and gals that aren't doing anything to protect, support, and encourage, and they're making $80,000-$90,000 in an assignment fee. Wild. Wild.
I kind of feel the same way about flips.
Tell us more.
Just from an investment strategy. You know, people will, well, sometimes with listed properties, but they'll, you know, super low ball because, you know, they've got to put 20, 30, $40,000 into a property and then they want to make a profit. Then they got to pay taxes. And it's the margins on a flip are so thin that, you know, it is, if done right, I don't see how they can be profitable except based on the doing it by sheer volume.
Yeah. Now here's the thing, Jim. If I tell you, and you're my client, I'm the buyer or the investor and a realtor, we can do this. And I tell you, this is what I'm willing to pay for. This is my cash value. You might be able to get more on the market. You might be able to get more moving this, that, or the other thing. Hold on a second. Yeah.
Cat walks across the keyboard.
Actually, it's worse. There's a black plastic bag on the ground that my wife brings the laundry from our Airbnb in. The cat went to go pee on it. Fucking dickhead.
Why don't like cats?
No, this one's just a jerk. So if I tell you my value and I tell you, hey, this is what the market value is, it might be worth 200,000. But with all the repairs, all of the things that I need to do to this house and to protect my margins, I'm going to offer you 170. And you know it, and I've disclosed it, and you as a seller move forward with it. Am I in the wrong?
We even have a form in California, confirmations of conversations.
There you go.
Of course we do, right?
Of course we do, right? Where's the rest of you at? I see Anthony's head nod. I see Mikey biking, but the rest of you are so quiet today. If I wanted to have a conversation with Jim, I'd call him.
I was gonna say as long as everything's disclosed to the the seller, that the agent or the flipper, if they're not an agent, is making a profit off of it, and they understand that. They don't need to know how much profit or any of that, but if they understand that they're there to make a profit, then I think you've done your due diligence on that aspect.
Yeah.
What I don't like about flips, which is the cutting corners once they're there, once they have it.
Lipstick on a pig.
Yeah, because then, yeah, that doesn't do anybody a service, because then you come in there and you have a punch list of stuff, and then they're out of money or whatever, and they're not willing to do it. Well, you just waste everybody's time, because you're right. Lipstick on a pig isn't going to help our client at all.
The other reason I don't like flips too is, in real estate, it's all about building relationships, right? And I have a relationship with a seller, and I say, hey, Anthony, I understand you and your wife going through a divorce and the house is in some disrepair. I shared with you that the market value in top of condition is around, 450 to 500 or whatever. But you need about $100,000 worth of work to bring it to the top of market value. Blah 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 blah. I could save you X amount of commissions buying it myself. Whatever, something like that. And then I purchase it from you, and then I put it on the market 6 months later and get 525. And you're like, hey Jim, you bought this house for me for 350, but you just sold it for 525. Why didn't you teach us how to do that? And then now there's this awkward, weird bad blood, right? Whereas if I buy it for 350 and say it is worth 525, but I rent it out for 2 years, and then 2 years later I sell it and do a 1031 exchange or whatever. One, I defer all my taxes and I depreciate it for 2 years and I have passive income. But two, it's kind of water at the bridge at that point, because I bought it 2 years ago and the market value went up, et cetera, et cetera. And there's not really that bad blood, right?
He's asking the rest of you guys. Conversations are double-sided.
I was agreeing. Said, uh-huh.
I think I caught the gist of it. Sienna was talking to me, well, so I didn't get all of it, but I think I understood it, and I agree.
So when it comes to protecting your clients, this is a good conversation to have today, is protecting your consumer. You have a fiduciary responsibility to protect not only them in the process, but them in the conversations. If a seller is asking you for pertinent information about the client, the buyer, that may harm their negotiating stance, you can't disclose it. I don't care if you're working both sides. You have the fiduciary responsibility of protecting. Now, on the financial side, on the investment side of things, it's important because you're like, hey, this doesn't make any sense. You're losing money selling it to this company. Disclose, disclose, disclose. But how do you protect as a fiduciary when you yourself want to buy?
You froze.
How do you protect them as an agent when you want to turn around and buy the house?
That's the tight line. That's the hard.
You have to disclose everything. I am going to buy your house with the intention of.
He froze again.
Wasn't bragging about his awesome internet yesterday?
It's just weird. It says unstable. I haven't moved, and I pay for incredibly fast internet because of this.
Talking about you.
I am. I know you're talking about me. I'm mad. I have full signal.
I thought it was me until I saw everybody else moving.
No, it's Comcast. It's definitely me. And they just sent me an email yesterday. We've upgraded your speeds. Bullshit. Okay. Yeah, you've upgraded my speeds, but you increased my latency also. Okay.
But also your intentions can change.
Yeah, if you're right, Rachel, your intentions. You can take the listing with the intent to sell it and then come across an idea. You're like, this is a great idea for me to buy it. All you got to do is disclose, disclose, disclose. Just like a police officer doesn't have the right to plead the fifth, you as a real estate agent don't have the luxury of keeping your mouth shut. You got to disclose your intentions. You have to disclose your goals. I'm going to buy this and I'm going to sell it as a profit.
It's like that confirmation of conversations form I was telling you guys about. I would have filled out a form in California that says I'm buying this house for 325. The ARV is 500. I told the client that it needs $50,000 worth of work. They don't have the capacity to do it, and they're good with selling it to me if I could waive my commission and cover the closing costs. Mr. and Mrs. Seller sign here.
Absolutely. Disclose. And here's the thing, is a lot of people out there, and this is mind-boggling to me. A lot of people out there are afraid to have these conversations because they're like, oh, they're going to reject me. No. When you disclose and you're honest and you're upfront about things, people are like, okay, that makes sense. Versus when you're like, it's going to need a lot of work and it's only worth like this much. And I know you guys bought it for this much. And you're trying to justify through a logic trap versus just revealing your intentions. You sound like a snake, like when you're trying to be like the other guy. Well, you guys bought it for 35. I'm going to buy it for 50. So I get a little bit of meat on the bone. Your seller gets a little. No, you're wrong. As a consumer, they have the right to be protected by a licensee. Like, you guys are all licensed professionals. You've done the classes, you've taken the tests, you've gone through the training. So you are what they consider a wolf. They are considered sheep. You are the predator, they are the prey. So you have to protect them, even when you want to buy from them. Just disclose it. Disclose. That's why in Arizona, I know in California, you have to, in contracts, we have to put buyer as a licensed real estate agent. We have to disclose that the person or the seller is a licensed real estate agent. If somebody is in the transaction is licensed, you got to disclose it, because now it is not a level playing field. I know things about the contract and transaction that you probably don't. I am going to be the wolf. You are going to be the sheep. Sign here. Disclose. On the other side, don't disclose pertinent information like, what would your seller take? You see how that guy asked me, well, what would the seller take? Well, what's your offer? How much would he come up? What are you offering? So, didn't mean to interrupt him. So,
Right now, he'll take what it's listed for.
yeah, he'll take the list price. I mean, the list price is a great starting point. And anytime somebody ever gives me a low offer, you guys saw my script. You guys remember it? $50,000 is what?
I love how you did the cost breakdown with the amenities that are on the property. Well, by your math, it should be 82.
Yeah, it should be 82.
$50,000. $50,000 is a great down payment.
Yeah, Mikey's been around me a long time. He knows how I work. Yeah, I'll give you $50,000. $50,000 is a great down payment. Or a $300,000 listing. We're going to offer you $260. $260 is a hell of a down payment. Because they're not expecting it. They're hoping for somebody to just say yes. That's not how this works all the time. Now, sometimes it is. And that's why they do it, because out there are, in fact, buyers and sellers that'll just say yes. They're not thinking.
It's a numbers game.
It's a numbers game. The more you do, the more opportunity you have. The more opportunity you have, the more yeses you get. The more yeses you get, the more checks you get, the happier your wife is. I'm with it.
They find some kid that inherited grandma's super distressed property that needs a roof and it's got walls punched out, whatever. They don't want to deal with it. And somebody waves $100,000 cash in front of their face. They're like, oh, I'll take it.
Yeah. I had a buyer or a seller, and the buyer, they became a seller that had a wholesale offer on their house for $54,000. They took the offer, they signed it, I'm like, you guys are dumb. I found out about this after they reached out to us to buy a house because they sold theirs, and come to find out they sold it for $54,000. And I did my research, I did my due diligence, and found out that they got a wholesale offer. This is what really started me hating wholesalers. This was back in 2019. Wholesale offer for $54,000. They had a 4-bedroom, 2-bath townhouse that had a little bit of maintenance issues, probably about $40,000 in repairs. Their house, in its physical present condition, the nasty, ugly condition, was $194,000. And some wholesaler out there put an offer in and then put a cloud on title, keeping them from moving forward, to make $150,000 profit.
Well, a lot of times those sellers, they don't even they don't have the knowledge of thinking. They just, okay, someone told me this was going to be, so this was going to cost to fix it, and we don't have that money, so let's just go forward with it. Or
Yeah,
they
they
need
don't
to. I
know.
mean,
Under
we saved one. Yeah, we saved one from taking $100,000 for under what we listed it for. Plus, they were going to have to pay at closing because they only had the home for a year. So.
No.
Make sure.
There is
there's
a
a
lot of
reason why.
opportunity to protect.
Oh, sorry, Dan.
Go ahead, Jim.
I'd say there's a reason why most wholesalers, I'd say probably 90% of them, aren't licensed real estate agents, because ethically, it's never in the benefit of the seller.
Yeah. It's not. Now, there's a new form in Arizona you have to fill out if you're a wholesaler. That's a disclosure of intent or something like that. You have to go along with the purchase contract, but not everyone out there is doing this. Why are we having this conversation? Not because I hate them. Wholesalers have a reason. Like we work with a really good wholesaler that also has a real estate company. Anthony's done like 40 deals with him. He is a wholesaler. That's where he came from. Now, here's the thing is, when I say wholesaler, I mean the uneducated, slimy, take advantage of people type, not the I'm an agent out there protecting people, and I just happen to do some wholesale deals. We're talking about it because when you can alliterate and you can paint the picture to a potential seller that you're talking to that's thinking about taking one of these cash offers, and you can navigate them through making a couple $1,000s more while protecting their interests, you can then go out there and educate the masses and talk to more people and get more deals and protect more people. There are so many people out there that get scammed every single day because they don't know better. Hell, my mom texted me 2 days ago. She goes, "Did you get rid of my phone? They said that my Apple Cloud is getting turned off in 2 days and I need to log in." I'm like, "Mom, don't click the link." Just like people are like, "Well, they told me my house is only worth $200,000 and it needs $100,000 worth of work. They're going to give me 150 cash for it right now." That's because they don't know any better. So if you can get in front of people, create relationships with people, and have great spheres of influence that you can influence, you're going to protect people. That's what this is all about. Yeah, you make a lot of money, but you do so by protecting people's biggest financial assets. You get paid $11,000 to sell a house. And they're like, "You make too much money." No, motherfucker, I made sure you didn't lose $150,000. Sorry, I get a little passionate about it because this is one of those things that just gets my goat because it's bad.
Well, keep in mind also those wholesalers that are going on Instagram talking about making 100 grand, one call, blah, blah, blah. Spend a lot of time making that marketing, and they're charging each of those clients anywhere between 5,000 and 15,000, and they fill up a room with 20, 25 people. That's where they're getting their 100,000 in a month. It's not from doing the deals. I'm not saying they're not going to hit a deal, but they're doing more sales pitches and have the time to do that than they are doing deals. So
here's my advice to you guys, and this is the last time I'm going to see you really for the next 4 to till Monday. Is if you come across a distressed seller that wants to sell their house, I want you to ask the question, how could I buy it? And then have the disclosure conversation with them so that you can start this path of home ownership into investments like we talked about the other day. How can I buy it? Because if you disclose and you help them out and you're doing the right thing, it's not sneaky or greasy. It's not taking advantage of people. It's making sure that they're whole. And if you can't find a way, reach out to your fellow agent that you know is looking. And there's an opportunity there. The more we protect our people, the more they stay home because our flock only becomes bigger when we add to it. And if you're not protecting your sheep, they're out there in the wild, they get picked off by other wolves. What scares a wolf?
A bigger wolf?
A shepherd.
I'll say, oh yeah, Anthony, shotgun.
Yeah, a wolf can't hold a shotgun. A shepherd can. So go out there and be shepherds to your flock, my friends. If you're biblical, you understand that reference. If you're not, physically, take care of your sheep, take care of your people, take care of your clients, take care of yourselves. And by taking care of yourself, I expect all of you to be on tomorrow, Thursday and Friday, right? Good.